good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everybody. I'm your host, John Terrence Malen, and today we are talking about the mental health in today's podcast, the LaSallian Bros podcast. Starting with our wonderful participants here, Andre.
Hi guys, I'm Andre Mengito.
Hello guys, I'm CJ Nabo.
Hi guys, my name is Edward Magsumbol.
Hi guys, my name is Ethan Paler.
Hi guys, my name is Justin Magpipon.
Hello everyone, I am Lorenzo Obed.
Hello everyone, I'm Marcus Moralde.
Hello everyone, I'm Ronald Limitra.
Hello, my name is Kim Patrick Osmilio.
Hi guys, I'm Mikoy Malyari.
Hello, my name is Sheldon Pua.
And hello guys, I'm Vicente Novero.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's podcast. I hope everyone is well naman, right? Right? Okay. So, warm-up question muna tayo just to start off, the podcast, start off the conversation. For anyone can answer this kung gusto nyo naman, when you hear the phrase mental health, what's one of the first things that you think of? Unlike yung unang papasok sa ulo nyo, the thing that comes into mind. Anybody?
If I would be to start, I would say yung mga issues regarding it. That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Issues. Okay.
Ako naman, I think of how a person feels inside, like yung emotions nila, yung mga stress na nararamdaman nila.
Emotion and stress, okay.
So para sa akin naman, kapag naririnig ko yung mental health, I think of myself and yung peace of mind, like yung feeling of mentally calm and not overwhelmed.
Okay, mentally
Ako
calm.
naman when I think of mental health, one of the first things that comes to mind is someone's EQ or their emotional quotient. Basically, how well they manage their emotions.
To add on to that, for me, it also like
Joke lang.
for me, it's also how like someone handles their stress. Also,
Siguro the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear mental health is pahinga. Like yung utak mo, kailangan mo dapat ding i-rest. Similarly sa katawan natin, when we do things, strenuous things, when our body is put into stress, there are instances na napapagod tayo, nagkakasakit tayo. And similarly, ganun din yung mental health para sa akin.
For me, it's really just a person's mental state, how they're feeling emotionally, physically, all that.
For me, it's all about someone's overall emotional welfare.
When I hear mental health, I immediately think of it as a journey. Not necessarily one that is linear, but a journey nonetheless.
For me, it's all about, it's the same thing, overall mental state.
For me, it's one of the important parts of your body. Like one of the health that you need to take care of.
Sabihin ko sana, it's important for me mental health is like yung importante na kailangan mo talaga siya in your mind or what you have to take care of in your mind because you'll either have to always think of do I need a break or are you overwhelmed or am I being overwhelmed, parang mga ganun. So parang ito yung parang need mo talaga na i-take care of talaga for me.
Yun, that was all wonderful answers, sa iba sa inyo, issues na iisip, how a person feels inside, yung stress, or kung mentally calm ba sila, yung emotional quotient. Like, those are some good answers talaga. I mean, there's no right or wrong answers, di ba guys? Kasi mental health naman to, it's a complex and wonderful topic talaga. And it transitions to our next question, or one of our main questions is, what is something that affects your mental health regularly as a student? It's like, going back to said, like, yung issues nila, like, what are the issues, diba? Regularly as a student pa. Anybody?
So for me, schoolworks and deadlines affect my mental health the most because they can feel overwhelming sometimes.
For me, yung something na nag-affects mental health ko as a student is deadlines and grades, especially grades.
To add to what Andre said na lang, I would say expectations of other people.
I'd say the responsibilities piling up from everything, parang schoolwork and your daily life as well. Parang mga binibigay lang sa'yo ng uh, chores and tasks.
A big factor that affects my mental health regularly as a student are the stresses I get from my classes. Though sometimes the teachers are nice and kind, I still get really stressed from the deadlines.
Kasi student tayo, definitely yung workloads. Siyempre sa school minsan sobrang hirap lalo na kapag sabay-sabay yung requirements natin and also like may mga subjects tayo na requires ng readings tulad ng obligation and contracts na nagkakos talaga ng burnout kasi nakakapagod siya and super daming readings, di ba? And as in minsan isang araw pa lang joined na joined ka na. Kaya nakaka-overwhelm talaga pag nagpa-pile up lahat.
Nakaka-relate din ako sa ganun eh, sa schoolwork. Pag napapile up na din.
Yeah, and to add on to that, kasi, di ba, yung expectations and yung pressure, like so much assignments that you're losing sleep, you're being more anxious, and you're having less time for everything else. And
Kaya sa akin naman, being a student athlete, then it's hard to balance time and everything. Sometimes you really have to choose whether you're gonna sacrifice studies or training or sometimes sleep. And so it just really yun lang siguro yung nagbibigay ng struggle sa akin when pag nagsasabay lahat, pag sunod-sunod yung training, pag pinapapunta ako sa training ng mga coach ko, tapos sunod-sunod naman yung mga kailangan basahin, aralin.
Yun na
So
yun, no?
that's
Kasi
what
like,
makes it tough.
yun na yun, no? Kasi mental health not only takes a toll on your mind, but also on your body talaga, no? Like the lack of sleep, ganon, di ba, Edward? Like, nakarelate rin eh.
Yeah.
May sasagot pa ba? Yung ganun talaga yung issues kasi. Like, may story din ako eh. Like, sa mental health, like, how it affected. I mean, I would like to share a story. Like, last year pa naman to, but really, like, sa last year na namin sa school ko, sa senior high, nung grade 12 ako, like, it was so fast-paced that it really, took a toll on me. And like, out of all the subjects, there was this one subject, it really took a toll on me. Like, my mental health just went down. Like, I was already having a hard time with capstone and other like subjects like, I say calculus because I was STEM, back then, and it's like it really took a toll on me. And yeah, I'm thankful that I had some friends to deal with. I have some friends to help me deal with the with the issue of my mental health to improve it. So I would like to transition into the next question. Is like, how do you cope with things that affect your mental health negatively? How do you de-stress? Like, ano yung mga ginagawa niyo, guys?
Siguro for me, I just watch Netflix and listen to music and maybe play basketball.
Ako naman, I cope by taking breaks, riding my bike, listening to music, and talking to people I love.
Personally, I like to pray. It's very uh it's very therapeutic being able to just let things out to a higher power that we don't see. And yeah.
That's very LaSallian of you. That's a nice
Ako for
answer.
me, I go out to eat with my loved ones and my friends. Inaaya ko lang sila then lumalabas kami.
For me naman, the way I cope with stress and my mental health is I love playing video games with my friends, my very close friends, and parang sila lang nakakapag if like I'm ever stressed out, parang they're my first like the first thing I want to do is play with my friends so I can calm down or lessen things up a bit.
For me, related to the others, it's also in general just hanging out with the people that I like.
Ako naman, just like Ethan said, prayer really is a huge help sa life ko. Especially it's stated in the Bible that we should cast all our anxieties onto him. And it just gives us this sense of security, or it gives me this sense of security na when I pray, I have nothing to worry about, because if masasagot man yung prayer ko the way I wanted it to be, then masaya, diba? But if it's not gonna be answered the way I hoped it would be answered, that just means that there's something better in store for me. Sometimes it's not that easy to accept that, pero I have this sense of security that God has me covered, so I don't have to worry about it naman.
So
For me, usually, nagpapahinga muna ako and unang-una I listen to music. Minsan lumalabas ako and just to breathe and i-enjoy yung nature na nasa harapan ko. I like doing that kasi nakaka-relax siya, parang nakakapag-reflect din ako yung mga kailangan kong baguhin and mga kailangan kong gawin. And nakakatulong din yung like approaching someone you trust kasi minsan kailangan lang natin ilabas yung nararamdaman natin. And yun nga, mahilig talaga ako mag-open up sa mga friends ko and yun, kumain sabay sa kanila. At yun, yun yung coping strategies ko to maging positive
Uh,
ulit.
for me, I like hanging out with my friends and I relate to Justin kasi if like I'm too pressured with everything that's happening, I just go outside, take a walk, and enjoy nature also.
I enjoy nature. That's very beautiful.
okay, for me naman, I think quite agree that prayer is a kind of respect on one side, one out. So,
Sorry,
emotional
Sheldon. I
distress.
think nag-ano yung mic mo, Sheldon. Pwede mo i-repeat naman yung answer?
So, malinaw daw po ba?
Yan, malinaw na. Nice one, Sheldon. Okay, you can repeat your answer na.
Okay, I believe that prayer is also a vital aspect in one's life when it comes to dealing emotional distresses rin. And not just that, I also meditation in scripture. Um and during times when I really want to shake things off, minsan nagjo-jog na lang po ako. Yun lang po.
Yun ang maganda, guys, no? Prayer and friendship. Alam mo, nagustuhan ko rin isa yung walking in nature. Like, I think most often nakakalimutan natin or hindi na na-experience is nature as well kasi nasa suburbs tayo, nasa city tayo, Metro Manila, right? It's hard to find nature in a concrete jungle. And in this concrete jungle, the people who have our backs is God and our friends talaga. If you have real, like true friends you can rely on talaga. I think it's beautiful that you can open up to them, you can talk to them, de-stress, hang out, like lalo na that online na naman tayo, like we can just interact on social media. And prayer is a really wonderful thing. Kasi like lahat tayo, bilang LaSallians talaga, we should never forget about God. That God always has a plan for us and always has our back. Now, going back to our friends and social media, yun nga, sa tingin nyo guys, in what way does social media affect our mental health? Is it negative, positive, maybe a bit of both? This is one of the conversations that I would like for us to discuss, diba? Who would like to start first on social media?
I'll start it off kasi as someone who's parang chronically online talaga kasi uh, ever since I've been online studying since like 2022 pa. So parang nung grade 11, first time ko lang talaga maging face-to-face ulit after like 4, 5 years. And parang how social media affects parang if it's mental health, if it's positive or negative, it's a bit of balance, a bit of both talaga. Because on one side, it's positive na you'll find videos, find posts that is positive, helps you have a positive mind, helps you have uh, a great time, makes you laugh, all that stuff. But then on the other side, there's the negativity where parang you'll see something that just all of a sudden makes your day worse, or not really worse, parang nakaka-bad trip lang makita yung post na yan, or it affected you because you felt related to that post, or parang ganun na. So It's a bit of both, but in all its view, it's just all about your perspective on how you view the post. If you want to see it as something positive or something negative lang talaga.
Okay, that was a nice answer, CJ. Does anybody want to add on to this conversation or answer?
Um, for me, I think social media is very negative. Like, yes, you mentioned that there are a lot of positive things within social media, but I'd say it can be very uncommon, and you can only find it if you search for it. But overall, social media, I guess it it makes a lot of us compare ourselves to a very certain standard that is shown on social media, and whether it be like for relationships, especially for relationships, a stereotype is being brought out in which people start thinking that red flags are normal and that they can be accepted and what's the word, tolerated. So yeah, I think social media can be very negative.
Okay.
Here's to I agree with CJ in the sense that it's it could be both. You know, it could be helpful, it could be beneficial, but at the same time, it could also be harmful. And I also agree with Ethan din sa point na a lot of it is actually negative because other than the posts, other than its influence sa atin with normalizing or tolerating stuff that shouldn't be normalized or tolerated, comparing other people to other people on we see online or other people we see online to ourselves, other than that, I think even the good things about social media, like finding, let's say, videos that make us laugh, it actually also could really affect us badly because of every time we see, let's say, a good video or a funny video, it just wants us scrolling more, and it will lead to overconsumption and too
Doom
much
scrolling,
dope.
right?
Yeah, it would just lead to doom scrolling and bed rotting, and it would affect our attention span. That's why we sometimes have difficulty focusing during classes, locking in when we need to study or finish requirements. That's it. Even the good sides of social media could still affect us negatively, and I believe it's really how we should use social media. It should really be in a more controlled manner.
I agree
I
with that.
could add on something. If I could add something lang talaga. As much as I agree with both statements, it's really just a matter of view and perspective lang talaga on how people determine if that post or social media thing is positive or negative. It's just people being humans. Wala lang talaga kami, or wala lang talaga kayo, or anyone in general can do anything about it. If you see a positive post, then you'll compare yourself to being that type of positive thing. If you see a negative post, then you'll compare yourself into being that negative aspect as well. Because what is there to do except wala lang din talaga. It's just how you view your mental health and that post, if it's positive or negative. I agree with the statements. I'm not trying to say anything about that statement. It's just that even though there is a lot of negative posts, a lot of negative stuff on the internet, on the social media, there's also a lot of positive stuff and positive things in the web in a sense. Just as how say there's a 50% of negativity, there's always a 50% of positivity. There's nothing unbalanced. There's no balanced or unbalanced things that are happening in social media or in our mental health. It's all just a matter of perspective as people being humans and how we view positivity and negativity in each post.
Yeah, I'd like to add to what CJ said. There's this, I don't know if it's actually called a law, but it's the law of polarity, where everything has an opposite. So a negative can always have a positive, and a positive can always have a negative. And I think just being aware of that and consciously thinking of that whenever you're on social media, it allows you to detach from like that over immersion with social media, because I feel like that can also be a problem, and just allowing yourself to accept the reality that though there are positives, there will always be a negative, like what CJ said.
Yeah, I really agree with everyone's sentiment talaga. Like, yeah, there's very much so, makita mo yung positive, negative. It's really up to the person who's consuming the media. So, yun nga talaga, I think for me talaga, when it comes to social media, you have to be a wise consumer of it. You can't overconsume, like sinabi earlier ni Edward. Like, you can't, pag you overconsume, you just bed rot, you'll doom scroll, you'll be unproductive. And sure, there are some positive sides and negative sides talaga. But it's really up to the person. I do agree. That was some nice answers talaga, guys. I would like to thank you for sharing that. Does anybody else want to share other than CJ and Ethan? Kahit short lang. Like very short. If not, then let's transition na to the closing question, which is, what tips could you give to others about mental health? You know, like not just mental health in general din naman. Or you can go into specifics like in the social media topic, or how does it affect mental health. Like anything about mental health. Does anybody have any tips? Not just for our juniors, but for everybody, anybody who's struggling. It could whether be seniors or the elderly who struggles with mental health. Like any tips lang talaga that could help them in their way.
Hi.
Lem sorry. Sige, sige.
So for me, always lagi ko sinasabi sa sarili ko na it's okay not to be okay. And take care of yourselves. Rest when you need to, and don't be afraid to talk to someone if you're struggling.
Mm.
For me naman, the tip I could give is never downplay your feelings. Never bottle up the things you feel, or the things, even though you think it's really bad to mention it to your friends, to tell your friends, your family. You should always, if something's always troubling you, or you're struggling something with, you should always talk with someone to at least lessen the burden of having that type of struggle. As one of the quotes na nagustuhan ko talaga, it was I heard from um, Mary. I forgot her name actually. MJ from Spider-Man. It's a expect disappointment so that you won't be disappointed at all. It's a quote na parang, I know it's a bit negative, but if you were to expect disappointment from, even if you say your struggles to someone na, and you'd get a disappointing answer, it's okay kasi at least you expected it, and that um at least may nasabi ka, and you'd feel less burdened if once you tell someone talaga.
Okay.
For me, I would say learn to take things slow. You don't always need to rush a solution for your problems, and it's better if you can think of it with clarity so that you will be able to find a correct and valid answer to your problems.
For me naman, it's besides like talking to someone, I agree with Obed to the fact like to take things slow. And I also heard this somewhere, but it was stop, reflect, and take a break.
Ako, I agree with everyone na don't hesitate to tell someone what you're feeling because uh, it, always remember that you are not alone.
For me, siguro pay attention to what you feel and acknowledge it and never disregard it.
Sa akin naman, feeling ko one of the things na us, lalo na men, struggle with is accepting that there's a problem, and since hindi nila matanggap na merong problem, uh, they don't do anything about it. So, the first thing should really be accepting that there's a problem, and that's when you move on to the next step, which is addressing it. And sa pag-address naman, it's really important to have a good supporting system, to have a good support system, good friends, that trusted friends that you could talk to, and family especially. And other than that, I know it's kind of medyo taboo minsan when people say, just go to God and pray about it, but I really genuinely believe it's helpful. And if I understand if you are in a difficult position and you don't want to go to God at the moment, but try to find someone who could pray for you because that could also help. You're not going to God, but like at least someone's praying for you. Because I really believe na alam mo yun, parang that will help, and God loves you. Uh God will never leave you naman. So, yun lang.
Yeah, I really agree with Edward. If you can't find someone at least to talk to or tell your problems, maybe nahihiya ka or ano man, you can always approach God. He's always there. And usually in times like this where a lot of crazy stuff are happening, sometimes you really have to lighten up our burden and let out. And oftentimes people don't really realize the importance of talking to one another. And in this type of society that we are currently in right now, the world doesn't really revolve around you. So it's also a matter of choice where we also have to step up for ourselves, man. And I think that's all for me.
Siguro yung masasabi ko is listen to yourself. If pagod ka, rest. If overwhelmed ka, reach out or pwede ka ding umiyak kasi normal lang yun. Normal lang mapagod and wag mong ipa-pressure yung sarili mo to keep up with everyone. Iba-iba din kasi talaga tayo ng pace and small steps are still progress. And always remind yourself na deserve mo ng pahinga at care kasi I believe na we don't heal by forgetting, we heal by understanding. So to understand ourselves, we need to listen sa sarili natin talaga.
Para sa akin, an advice that I could give to help our mental health is unahin mo yung sarili mo. If the environment that you are in does not help you positively, umalis ka dun. If alam mo naman na mali yung nangyayari, iwasan mo.
Some tips I would give to others is to take things one small step at a time. It is never a competition, and it is never too late to start. We each all live life on our own pace.
Now that was beautiful.
Uh,
So continue.
Sorry. Let me add to everybody. To what everybody said. But I think it's really important to name what you're going through. So that can also be just acknowledging it, but naming it and actually knowing what it is you're struggling with, it really helps. And uh, by naming that, allowing yourself to surrender it, to let go of it, to detach from it, to give it to God, basically. And kind of like what Edward said, where a lot of people might think it's taboo to just say, give it to God. But, there are also a lot of people that um, have experienced life changing experiences and mystical experiences by simply giving it to God and letting Him do all the work. And, it is through that where we're able to also tell other people and allow them to help us. So, yeah.
Okay, everyone, those were really wonderful answers. Wow, like Edward, Sheldon, CJ, Ethan, I could have not phrased it better. Like giving it to God talaga. I really in our times of hardships, like praying is one of the most wonderful thing you can do bilang isang LaSallian. And ganda din yung quote ni Justin, we don't heal by forgetting, we heal by understanding ourselves. Yun din talaga. We have to remember we are not machines. We are people. People of God. We're just people with feelings. Napapagod talaga tayo. Also some wonderful tips talaga, guys. If nobody else has anything to add, I think that's a wrap. I really would like to thank all of you for participating in the LaSallian Bros podcast. You know, as always, guys, please keep yourself safe. uh stay true to yourself. Take a rest. Always remember you're human. We all make mistakes. Pray to God. Like God is our man. He always has our backs. And with that, that's a wrap.